Hi everyone, this is Erin from Sandpaper Road, and welcome to Use What You Have Scrapbooking Edition using letter sticker sheets part 2. I am so excited about this video because I've got 6 new tips for using your leftover letter sticker sheets, or even ones you haven't even started using at all. This is just ridiculous that we have all these letter sticker sheets. Plus, I have some great ideas for using some letters. These are ones that aren't sticky at all. They're not necessarily sticker sheets, but they're those same kind of letter sheets. And a while back, I had a subscriber asking for ideas for these kinds of non-sticky letters. So got 6 new tips for using your letter sticker sheets and non-sticky letters, so stick around. The first tip is to use some of your leftover letters from the sticker sheets on a scrap of paper and just arrange them at random, but then combine them and cut them out into more letters or shapes. It's a really neat effect. It would be like if you were using a text stamp or some rub-ons or things like that. So all I do is I take some of the letter stickers, and I always like to work right side up, straight up and down. And then once I get a few of them down evenly spaced, then what I'll do is I'll turn the paper and continue to put them right side up, evenly spaced. But because I'm turning the paper, it will make it look like it's random, even though it's kind of controlled. So once you've got them down the way you like them, and it uses up a lot of those leftover stickers, really nice way to use them up. Then you've got a nice just scrap paper, and you could just die cut out, a butterfly shape, or if you have an alphabet die set, that would work great too. Look at that, a lot of nice ideas, and whatever shape you want. Now, I also did this on some background panels as well. Great for cards or tags for layouts. And you can also try this on acetate sheets too, which is really cool for words, titles, like even just date type things. Great way to use your stickers. Now, another way to use your letter sticker sheets is to create acrostics. And that's just vertically up and down, putting, letters and then creating little additional journaling or messages or just words off horizontally from that vertical one main word. So for this, I thought that I would do a very quick scrapbook layout. I don't tend to do this on video, and I don't know why. I think it's because this is tends to be my private play. I love to work with patterns. That's my favorite way to scrapbook, but sometimes I just throw a layout together literally at random. So this, I thought, well, I'll just see what we come up with. So I grabbed a few pieces actually of some double-sided paper in basically 2 different colors, a neutral, like a dark, blackish, grayish. It's textured. And then, I guess that one isn't double-sided. So, but the other ones are double-sided. And I sanded that down a little bit because it is textured and I didn't want it to just peel up. And that is probably an 8x8 scrap that I had prepared from another piece from a while back. These papers, I am not endorsing certain papers or companies or anything. I am literally just working out of my stash. I have had these papers for ever, just forever. And what I'm doing here is just spraying a little bit of water after tearing it and then rolling the paper back so that you can see the underside, the other color of the double-sided paper. I love doing that. It's so interesting. And it's a nice way to add texture and dimension without adding texture paste or things like that. Like I said, I'm just literally throwing this layout together. No plan, nothing. I had just gotten a bunch of prints from Shutterfly or Snapfish or something, and they came and I just thought, well, I'll just throw this together while I was doing the video. And that is a little bit of white matte acrylic paint. It's sort of my go-to. I very rarely make projects without it. I just love the look of it. I love, 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 love the look of it. It adds a nice sort of distressed edge without actually doing any distressing. It's really inexpensive for white matte acrylic paint, and I like the way it changes the look of a layout in just about a second. So there I'm just layering, and again, nothing fancy. It's just rolling and tearing and rolling and tearing. And I was trying to get it so it would lay right so that the picture, now of course at any time I could have cut the picture, but I just didn't feel like doing anything extra. There's where the acrostic will go. Now I have the letters on the edge of a clear ruler, and I do that because then they'll pop right off the ruler and I can get a good feel of the spacing without sticking it down just yet. As a matter of fact, you're going to see me use that clear ruler with letter sticker sheets all through this video. Those letters, I can't even remember the name of the brand. I can't remember a thing about them. They're chipboard letters. I have had them forever. I only chose them because I had enough of the same kind to spell my name, and also because they were blue like my hat in the picture. There's some foam tape. What's funny about this foam tape is that it was the clear end of the roll of foam tape, so I only had 2 strips left of it. And I thought, okay. And what's funny is that I end up changing my mind later and pulling that foam tape off because I didn't like the way that it laid without, like I wish I would have had one more piece of foam tape, and I didn't. And I didn't have any more of that thickness, so I pulled it off later on, you'll see. So the letters weren't really behaving themselves, and I only blame the fact that they are so old. So I did use a little bit of liquid glue to secure them down. Also, they kind of were coming apart, like the actual front of the chipboard letter was coming off of the back of the chipboard letter right there. So I'm kind of trying to glue it back together. But, you know, nobody's going to know that later years down the road. So that's why it's good to use just to keep stuff in your stash. You know, go ahead and go back through and use it even if it's years and years old. There on the left, you can see the parts that I tore off from the other purple and pink sheets. And instead of digging through and trying to find other embellishments and stuff, I thought, well, let me just use some punches, and I'll punch just a few little shapes, and then I can use both colors from the front and the back of those papers. And that way it stays in the same color scheme. I don't have to try to find, you know, other things to match those colors. I always like to do that. I love using double-sided papers just like that. And here's where I was like, oh no, I can't have that, because it was like bowing in the middle. I just needed one more piece and I just didn't have it. So I took the foam tape off. It came off pretty easily, not because of the kind of tape it is. It's a really strong tape, but because it was stuck to that cardboard roll directly, it was kind of not as sticky as it could have been anyway. So I just used some fun foam, and it's adhesive on one side, and then I added my own adhesive on the other side. You can find that fun foam or that adhesive sheets, they might call it adhesive sheets, really anywhere in a craft, wherever they sell like arts and crafts stuff, kids arts and crafts stuff. And there's just some liquid glue, and I'm just gluing down some of the punches. It's really easy to do. If you are a beginning scrapbooker, don't overthink stuff. Really, don't overthink stuff. Just sit down and start to play. You'll learn a lot about what looks good, what doesn't look good, what feels right, what doesn't feel right. Just start to play. You'll learn a lot too by going back through old scrapbook pages and layouts, especially if you've been crafting for a while and you can see how you've grown as an artist. I do that later in this video. I actually go back through and open up some of my old scrapbooks. I can't believe I do it. So this is some multimedia matte and some sequins. And I think I just used a jewel picker and just placed the sequins on there. I really wanted something to match the earrings and the cross necklace that I had on. Just something else. I needed like a third thing. I like to work in odd numbers, and I needed a third thing that was that sort of bronzy type metal. Now here I'm finishing up with the acrostic, and I want to let you know that you can do whatever you want on pages, but I personally find, this is just me, that like, look here, I started out wanting to use blue again, but then I thought, no, because I don't know, it just seemed like it was going to take away from the acrostic itself from the letters that I had. So I thought that is definitely that pink, purple, that rose color is definitely the color that I wanted instead of the blue. And then I just sort of experimented trying to find a good die cut that was going to look good right there. And I knew I wanted it to go 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way down. And I liked that sort of notched banner die from Sizzix. That was nice. I just hand wrote some phrases, starting with the letter that was going to match next to it with the acrostic. I didn't write in pencil first. I just wrote it. And don't be funny about your handwriting. Your handwriting is your handwriting, and your family members will appreciate that your own original handwriting is in your scrapbooks. There's some more of that just fun foam. I wanted to just lift it up just a little bit and put it on the back of those little notched banner pieces. It just looked perfect. It just fit perfect. That's exactly what I wanted it to look like in my head. Now this one I want to talk about for a second. I wanted it right there, and it was going to have to go over that rolled piece of cardstock. So what I had to do is add just a little bit more on just one side, and it's similar to how, like, if you sit at a wobbly table in a restaurant and you put sugar packets under one leg just to even it out, that's the same thing. You're going to have to do that sometimes on some of your more dimensional layouts. Don't try to push the roll down, because if you want the roll there, just leave it there. But then just to make adjustments elsewhere. And I thought that looked pretty good. I was happy with that. Now I did leave the bottom part there not adhered down because I knew I wanted to slide something under there, but I just didn't know what at the time. So if I left it loose and not stuck down, then I could make some choices later on. That metal box there is just a box of it's really just my stuff. If I'm done with something, don't want to throw it out, it's cut aparts that I have like one left. It's just little tags that I've made just for fun, and I throw them in the box. Sentiments I have an extra one of, and I just keep them in that little metal box. And if that metal box gets too full, I sort it, and that way it keeps it under control. So I found this little cut apart tag, and it looked really, really good. I didn't want to do anything to it. I didn't want to stamp, ink, just nothing. It just looked fine the way it was. So I just used a little bit of liquid glue to get that down there. I had a little heart punch I found in my metal box to go right over that little hole. I didn't want to do an eyelet or something like that. I just didn't want to. But I didn't know what to go in that little square. And then I thought, well, maybe I could do another piece. That was perfect because then it made 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 going down, and then a 5th little peekaboo one down in there. And I was happy with that, and stuck that down for good. I ended up writing the year on that little 5th one, and I also ended up changing that top left corner as well. So here's another tip. Sometimes you want to change the color of the letter stickers, and you can easily do that with some white matte acrylic paint, just painting right over top, or if you have some gesso, you can do that right over top and then repaint them over that with whatever color fits your project the best. That's just an extra bonus tip or trick. But the one I really wanted to show you here was that you can just use letter stickers to combine, make some random words, and then you can cut those out and save them later to use as random phrases. So if you only have a few letters left on some sheets, you can certainly pull those out. You can see I'm lining them up on the clear ruler. That's what I do. And I was a little bit too vigorous with that one and it tore. But I mean, who knows when I'm going to need the word about, or it's kind of just playing jumble or reverse Scrabble with your letter stickers. Just see what you can spell. Put them on scrap paper, cut them out, and store them in a little, well, for me, in my metal box. I tried to find a die to fit that, and of course I didn't have a die that was fitting that perfectly, so I just cut it. And that works just as well. You can leave them just as is. You know you're going to need them because we're always buying word stickers or word cut aparts, or we get excited when those kinds of things come with, a pack of paper. Well, why not just make your own if you already have a bunch of, I'd rather save stuff like that than just a bunch of random scraps of letters. This is just some distress ink in a blender, and I just made a bunch of little words. Now here's a tip though, like what if you want to make the word joy, for example, and the O is gone? Well, if you have these kind of letters, what you could actually do is fussy cut out the outline of the missing letter. You can still use it. It just makes it a little interesting. I remember back in the day, back in the long ago day, I did this just because I didn't have the letter itself. I only had the outline. I thought, oh, I'll just do it that way. I don't even care. And I wasn't trying to do anything cute. And everybody's like, how'd you do that? Oh, what a great idea. I was like, I just really didn't have that letter. It's the only thing I was trying to do. So if you don't have it, still use it, and you'll be surprised at the look you get. Just neat, couple of little ideas. And you know you're going to use joy around kids' pages or the holidays or whatever. And then you can make good use of your stuff. Stretch your supplies and have more things right on hand, and then you can make quick projects like that. Yeah, there they go in the metal box for another project. Easy. You can do it with these letters too. Some of these bigger letters have their own sets of good ideas. Good sticky. Now, some of these don't have sticky on the back. They're just regular cardstock letters. And so I have a few ideas for this. You can actually, like let's say you want to make some more letters, or you want to spell something with that same concept. What you could do is just make more just to get that idea out. So you can actually use the negative space as a template to cut more letters out of pattern paper. Here's how you do it. It's simple. Choose the pattern paper you want. Maybe you want it to look just like that, a blue striped letter L. Well, then what you would do is turn that pattern paper over, and turn the template over. You're going to trace it backwards. Okay, trace it backwards. That's important. Now, of course, you don't have to, but what you're going to end up doing is erasing later, and I don't like to do that. So, and then you just fussy cut it out. We use things nowadays that are much more convenient. You know, we have a Cricut to do this, or we have letter dies to do this, but don't forget that you could still use up those non-sticky letters with just creating a template. You can run that right through a Xyron and have a letter sticker just that blends perfectly right in. I'm just rubbing off the excess. And then you've got a sticky letter. And it perfectly matches with your other letters, and you can extend the life of your letter sticker sheets. Oh my goodness, this is from my old scrapbook. Look at this crazy scrapbook page. But look, you can use them as templates also with your photographs and make really interesting pages. I cannot believe I'm even showing these, but you can use the negative space of large non-sticky letters to cut photos into letter shapes and use them as layouts. It's really easy. It's no different than I just showed you with that letter L. You just use your photographs. So I'll show you on this picture. My husband sings in a gospel group, and this is the group he used to be with. And you can just lay it down like you would. Instead of using pattern paper, you just use the photograph. Now, it does work better with photographs that have a nice amount of space to work with. See, individually, there's space between those men. Also, it works really good with chunky letters. And you just use, this is a double-sided roll of adhesive sheets. You could stick it on the back where the letter is still intact right there, and then pop the letter out. And then you've got sticky on the back of the letter and sticky on the back of the outline. If you don't have a sticky sheet, this is another easy way to do it. You would just cut out the letter that you'd want to use. You could use liquid adhesive if you wanted. You could use the double-sided sheet if you wanted. You could use the Xyron. I find that to be the easiest, only because then you can kind of burnish and rub out the part that you don't want to be sticky. I'm literally just rubbing like a washcloth over top. Pull it off and you've got stickiness all over. Then you stick it just right over the part of the picture. Just imagine that it's pattern paper or a picture, whatever it is you want, and then fussy cut it out. And then you've got a letter. You can spell all kinds of stuff and make that part of your title. You could make it part of the layout itself if you have letters big enough. That's up to you. It's just a really, really interesting way to create variety in your pages. Another thing you can do is to extend the life of your letter sticker sheets. Is you ever try to spell something, you just have some missing letters, you're like, well, you can use some image stamps or some stickers to fill in missing letters. I just have some random fish stickers, and look, let's imagine I didn't have the S. Well, you could use a little sticker to fill in the blank. And I know these are not new tips and tricks, but sometimes we forget. I mean, you know I'm trying to spell flying fish, even if there's no S there. So, just don't forget about your other regular stickers to help enhance. Now, you don't want to go crazy with this. I've seen, some layouts where you spend a lot of time trying to decipher what is being spelled out, because there really should be enough letters that you don't have to decipher too much. And while you're on that subject, if you don't have the dots for the eyes, you could use bubbles. I mean, a lot of people use like the drops, the liquid drops and stuff, but don't forget about your stickers, your actual stickers. This is why they pile up, because it's a lot more convenient to put a wet dot of glittery something down, which is great. I do it every day, but don't forget about the other things that you already have as well. Then you can cut those out and use them on a layout, use them as tags, use them on cards, whatever. That's a really nice title. Really, really nice title. So we're going to do a little bit of a recap of these tips with your letter sticker sheets. Here are some that I used as panels and some acetate sheets as well. This was the card I created. So cute. I love the way that looks with the background, and it just brings out the whole feel of that card. Really nice. I like it a lot. Some other things that you could do is to create acrostics, and don't forget to be mindful of the color scheme of the acrostic. Make sure that the acrostic itself stays the focus. I just wanted to show you some more close-ups of how this page ended up, and I did change that top corner to match. Now here's another way I use that same acrostic with that same die on one of my son's pages. Again, keeping true to that color scheme. I didn't want it to jump right out at me. Then I used one of those words on another page just as an accent. Okay, so you can make words to use later. And don't forget about using the negative space to create interesting letters with your photographs. Here's another idea from Letter Sticker Sheets 1. Don't forget to watch that video as well, using the negative space on a layout for a background. So thanks so much for watching, and thank you for subscribing to Sandpaper Road, and see you next time. Bye-bye.